You have just watched Arcane Season 2 and wonder who controlled Amara in the scene with Ambessa. What if I told you I am super confident it is a character called LeBlanc? She is a super powerful mage who has been alive for over 1,000 years, and she is currently from Noxus. And I say currently because she was alive before Noxus was even created. She is capable of magic, but not any magic, mirror magic to be specific. This allows her to create live copies of her and control people. I am confident Amara was LeBlanc because firstly, we see that Amara is controlled by a dark shadow magic, and when Ambessa kills Amara, she knows LeBlanc is still alive by the way she is worried that she has already reached Piltover. And from Runeterra lore, we know that LeBlanc is one of the strongest people in all of Runeterra, so she won't die that easily. And in a 1v1, she would absolutely slap Ambessa. Secondly, do you remember the scene of a black flower on Amara? Well, that is specifically a black rose, and in case you didn't know, LeBlanc is part of an organization called the Black Rose. And a fun fact, she was actually one of the founders of the organization too. So I'm sure you're also wondering, what was that weird weapon the gorgeous bearded warrior uses that stops LeBlanc? I believe that is an enchanted blade. To be specific, a blade known as Riven's blade. Riven is a future character in Runeterra who has a blade with a similar green glow. This blade is very strong and is something LeBlanc wants back from Riven in the lore. I know I cannot give you more concrete evidence on this, but as soon as we find out more, I will make a video on the weapon. So now the big question is, why is LeBlanc in Piltover? Let me cook. I'm gonna pause everything here and give context to the world and background to LeBlanc. You can skip this part, it's for beginners who are new to lore. Noxus, Piltover, Zorn, and every other place I speak about is on a place called Runeterra. Runeterra was created by the Celestials with runes years ago, hence the name. Noxus was not an existing country when LeBlanc was first alive. LeBlanc was alive during the ruling of a being named San Azul. This being conquered all of Runeterra and is also known as Mordekaiser. Under him, he has an inner circle of powerful mages, and one of these mages was LeBlanc. LeBlanc did not like being under Mordekaiser's power, but even if she tried to fight him, it would be a 0% chance that LeBlanc can even hurt him. Dude was hella strong. Therefore, to beat Mordekaiser, she approached an old tribe in a place called Noxie, and the leader slash god who is worshipped of this tribe was a man named Vladimir. Now this man is also not an ordinary man. He is a man who absorbed a Darkin and does blood magic. I'm not gonna explain what Darkins are in this video, but they are these corrupted godlike warriors and Vladimir absorbs one's powers. So you can imagine his strength. LeBlanc and Vladimir team up to fight Mordekaiser. They do this by being able to neutralize Mordekaiser's source of power, the immortal Bastion. This was where Noxus is now, and it was Mordekaiser's base and how he would get lots of souls, aka power points, to be broken. After they do this, they are able to seal Mordekaiser. And side note, they are only able to seal Mordekaiser because dude was too strong for them to beat him, even together. As a result of LeBlanc and Vladimir's first successful mission, they team up and form a group called the Black Rose. Now do you see why I'm confident Amara is LeBlanc from Arcane? The Black Rose is a Noxus organization that works in the shadows and runs the political affairs of Noxus with its own agendas. LeBlanc has many goals, and we don't know all of them, but one of them is preventing the return of Mordekaiser. Side note, Mordekaiser is going to return. From his lore, we know that right now he is preparing to return to Runeterra from the Death World. And one way LeBlanc believes that she can stop Mordekaiser is with artifacts. They are powerful items that can be used for many reasons, i.e. putting someone in a prison for eternity. Okay, back to Arcane. Why was all of this relevant? I believe LeBlanc is after an artifact in Piltover, specifically from Ambessa and maybe Mel. Why do I think this? Well, it's because my next theory is that Ambessa's heritage is from a place called Shurima. Shurima was once an old nation in Runeterra, ruled by many emperors, but the most recent one being a man named Azir. In Shurima, there were these warriors called Ascended Warriors. They were godlike warriors with a lot of power. An example of an artifact would be one of these Ascended Warriors' weapons. And we know this because there was an Ascended called Nazook, and his gauntlet is an artifact found by a character called Ezreal, who is also from Piltover. Let's see if we find out about him in Arcane or not. And a color slash item of clothing slash weaponry in Shurima is from the color gold. We see Mel and Ambessa wearing a bit too much gold, especially for Piltovian and Noxian standards. And yeah, here is Noxus, darker and more emo than ever. So I believe them having Shuriman heritage is why they might have an artifact today. Another reason I think they are descendants of Shurimans is because you know the new music video released for Ambessa, Blood, Sweat and Tears? In that video there is a scene from Ambessa's past where she is in a desert, which is honestly the majority of Shurima. That is why I believe that Ambessa, Mel and the Medada family tree is from Shuriman heritage and has access to artifacts, which might or might not be something they are aware of. Maybe Ambessa knows, but Mel looks like a zombie with no idea. And side note, Zorn was not always called Zorn. It was founded thousands of years ago by the Shuriman Empire and was known as Oshra Vazorn or Ka Zorn. Another reason I believe think they could have artifacts, specifically Mel, is because of the rocket scene at the end of Arcane Season 1. How did everyone get some form of damage in the council or take damage, but Mel came out unscathed? Yes, Jace also came out with 0 to little damage, but he was near Mel. And remember the scene of the glowing item on Mel? That is what I believe is the artifact that LeBlanc could be after. And what does she want to do with that artifact in specific? Well, it could be related to Mordekaiser's return and potentially aiding in stopping it further, or it could just be useful for LeBlanc in her political status in Noxus. And honestly, although I've been calling her LeBlanc throughout this whole video, that's not even her name. LeBlanc is one of her many names. Some call her the Pale Lady, but we don't actually know where she came from, and is she even human? I also believe LeBlanc is placed in Arcane for another reason. In case you did not know, Arcane Season 2 will be the final season for the TV show. However, that does not mean they will not create another TV show that will continue the story of Runeterra in a different location. The next location will most likely be based in Noxus. And Noxus history is massive. They are a warring nation and attack many other nations, so there is a lot of juicy storylines for Riot to develop. I'm also going to backtrack a bit for my League of Legends players, but when Amara is fighting Ambessa, she actually teleports and uses chain magic to trap her opponents, which is literally LeBlanc's abilities in game. This is my first theory on Arcane Season 2. My channel is new to lore, and I knew if I made an Arcane Episode 1 review video, it just isn't gonna do well because the bigger channels already will do those and get the views. So I will work even harder to make the most interesting theories ever. And I don't want to flex, but I've met Necrit in real life, therefore I am him. Just joking, his beard is sexier. Let me know if I missed anything or if you can expand on this theory or even just have theories of your own. I have not slept for this video, so like and subscribe. This is the outro. Love you. Bye.